I'm ready.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today at Levittown Public Library's Postural Alignment class with Kimberly. Today is October 24th, approximately 11 a.m. Go ahead, Kim.
Thank you very much. All right, ladies, ready to begin? I guess they just gave me the cue. You're being recorded. What are we doing today? Anything? Nothing? Everybody's following Miss Marie. Marie, you are a leader. Lying down into a static back, and I see some of you have hit the floor. Is that what everybody like to do to start off with? Yes, sure. Okay, fine. We'll start out with a static back, and I'm going to tell you my ideas for our routine today. So static back is laying on your back. Put your legs up on top of a chair, preferably something that will trap you at 90 degrees. If you cannot lay on the ground, if you cannot lay on the ground, as always, you can modify by finding a similar position in any other position. So laying on the ground is the same as sitting in a nice square chair with your feet flat on the floor. It's only for people who are unable to get onto the floor. We're going to spend 5 minutes here.
Perfect, but you gotta be able to sit. You good? I can get down. I know.
All right, so we're starting out with a static back today. This is what it looks like. I gave you guys a quiz last week when we were in static back. I asked you to tell me where we put our arms, where we put our hands, so on and so forth. You want to refresh me on that? 45 degrees from the ears or from the hips? Where's that angle of 45 degrees? In your armpits. That's where you want that angle to be. So your hands are closer to your hips than they are to your ears. Do we want to go palms up or palms down?
Oh.
Palms up. How come? Changes the position of your shoulders. What about somebody who's twisting to go palms up from their elbow? And they're trying really hard to hold their palms up, and it's coming from their elbow, and they have to consciously think throughout the whole 5 minutes to turn their palms up by twisting the radius and the ulna from their elbow. What would you do in that situation? Good one. So Pat, I love how Pat shows me what to do, because she's a feeler. She feels through her body. She's kinesthetic in her way of learning. So she'll just try it out herself and then give me the answer. So she's absolutely right. You could bring the arms out closer to a T, and that will give people who have a hard time going palms up, give them a better ability to do so, or just let them go palms down, because it really is the shoulder position that's disallowing them to go palms up. And this goes for any exercise. So if you find, wow, I just cannot get the form correct, take what the body can give at the moment. This is not about forcing. Wim Hof says that, and so does this Mr. Pete Eward. Take what the body can give. This routine is not about forcing. I'm not saying don't work hard. You can work hard. But when you find you got to force something in a move like this, which is predominantly passive, you're doing it wrong. So the routine that I had in mind for today, I forgot what the heck it was called. Do we need to know what it's called? What the heck did they call this sucker? It's a good one. Step up your game. Sounds strong, right? That's what the routine is. So back in the day, only going maybe 3 years, maybe even more, 3 or 4 years ago, this posture company decided to hit the market in a different way and go for more workouts, which we often do. You guys know the style workout that I give you. It's hard, it's tough stuff. So they decided to name it something and try and sell it as that. It didn't quite work, but they were kind of giving it away right off the bat. So all of these routines I had written down. Some of them I have actually copied. And so I have them on video. But now you have to go to Vimeo to purchase them. And I think they're like $8 to $16 each routine. But I'm going to give you one of those routines. And it looks more like a workout, something that you would see at Crunch. Something that you would see maybe at Synergy. And I don't think any of them require any materials. So no blocks or straps in order to do them. It's just you and your body, the floor, the wall, maybe a chair. So we're going to touch on that one. I'd love to do step-ups. Man, we used to do step-ups all the time. But being that this is a different space than has been in the past, it's really difficult to get the chairs where I want them to be so that we can do the step-ups. So I'm still working in my head how we can do that. And then I'm also considering possible backlash I might get for putting feet in a certain, yeah, you hear me. I know you hear me on that. Yeah. So here's what I wanted to do today to prep us for this step up your game routine. I certainly wanted to do some shoulder realignment because even the hip stuff that I've been doing once a week with you guys, yeah, I've been slacking. Once a week with you guys has not fixed my shoulders. So I've got to dig in and I got to do an actual shoulder routine for me because it's not about you, it's about me. So we'll start out by doing some shoulder stuff here on the floor because we need reverse presses. And then we'll do some stuff on the wall, which I think you guys will really like. So you're going to stay on your static back and go for some pullovers. I'll give you 2 minutes to do it. Usually we count 3 sets of 10 in the pullovers. Same thing with the reverse presses, but 2 minutes is usually enough. So keep your elbows nice and straight. Palms touch each other. Drop your hands backwards overhead. And we're coming right back over the chest again and again and again. So your fists will go overhead and then back over your chest. And keep going for it. Elbows must stay straight. I do interlace my fingers. It doesn't mean you have to. The other thing is sometimes if you point your elbow creases towards your face, you don't have enough room, enough space between your elbow joints for your head. So as you come overhead, you might want to twist so that your elbow creases face each other if you happen to be bonking your own head.
If you have a fat head.
If you have a fat head, right. So all you fat heads out there. Or if you have glasses too, if you're wearing glasses, you might be bonking the sides of your glasses. But I'll count you in as fat head there if that's it. If you have a fat head, good one. Guys are doing great. And it's great, the pace that you have going on too. It's just over and back. We're not going for speed. We're not going for any force, especially if you got shoulder issues. If this is bothering your shoulder, stop the movement and just keep resting in static back. It might seem to some of you type A personalities that, oh, I'm not doing anything, nothing's getting done. It is. And yes, I am talking about you again. We have those type A personalities. I have to understand you guys too. That's why I came at it with that approach. Static back is doing something. So even if you're laying in static back and you're not doing pullovers, your shoulder position is changing. So it's all right to stay in static back for a little while. Good, we're going into reverse presses. Now, for those of you in TV land, I'm still laying on the floor. You're gonna bring your arms to what I call the goalpost position. Make your arms look like a goalpost. So your elbows are laying in the floor. Let them rest in the floor. Yes, yes, Denise, good. Take gentle fists in your hands, like a goalpost. So Barb, if you think like a goalpost, it's like this, sticking out of the ground. Yes, so I want to kick a field goal. Perfect, perfect. You're going to use just your shoulder blades for this. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. and then release. You're going to use your elbows as a little bit of an assist if this is new to you. It's a gentle squeeze. And I really want you to be gentle in this one. The harder you go, the more you're going to arch your mid back up off the floor, and we're not going to recruit the muscles that we want. Now, some of you I had a talk with last week. I asked you, did you feel this in your neck or maybe in your upper trapezius as you're doing this squeeze? And the answer was yes. If the answer is yes, I want you to bring your arms back to that 45 degree with your palms up, right where we started in static back. And you're going to do these squeezes from that position. I have to do them from this position too, because my neck really takes over. It really takes over. And you could tell because you see me, I have big, big shoulders. I was a big swimmer as a kid. So arms are like overworking. So I have to bring my arms to this position when I do reverse presses. Because all this takes over. And we don't want that to take over. We want the rhomboids and the mid trapezius, which is right here between your shoulder blades, to do the work. So keep it gentle, like 50 or 30% of your effort. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release. Sometimes you could do this at a halfway point, so you can bring your elbows a little bit closer to your body, but we want to be as even as we can be when we do this work, because we want both sides of the body to be balanced. So I can do the squeezes from here too while I lay down. You could do these in frog position. You could do these with your back against the wall. You could do this with your legs up the wall. You could do this in so many different positions. Just keep it up for about 30 more seconds. And then we're going to go back to our pullovers just for a functional test. And I'm going to get you up and we're going to do some stuff against the wall. Maria, these are your shoes, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure it's okay for me to touch them and move them around. So I'm going to move this off the wall so we could have some space for that wall. All right, so if you don't mind, you guys can try some pullovers again. So we are coming into the pullovers for our second round, just as a functional test. What does that mean? When I say, oh, I love it. Keep it brief and notice the change. Functional test means we're coming into this move again just to notice change. That's it. That's it. Noticing change. Yes, mine as well. She said her pullovers are always better after the reverse presses. Can anybody tell me why, as you stand up and I get you over to the side of the wall to do some other work? Why are your pullovers better after you do the reverse presses? Think in layman's terms. I'm not asking the rhomboids or doing the trapezio. No. You stretch the muscles, okay? Your shoulders are flatter. I like where you're going with it. Going through this is quite a range of motion, right? Would you say that this range of motion requires work back here in order to complete the motion? Stand up, everybody, when you're ready. So when you tuck yourself under and you do something like, you do like the, I'm beaten down by life, I'm 100 million years old. That's no offense at all, but this is what I'm saying, is that you get into this position. Now try it and see how high your shoulders go. Do you think as I stand like this, there's a lot of activation back here or a lot of activation here? Do you think there's more activation here? Let me use a different word. Do you think these muscles are retracting the shoulder blades as I'm in this position? Or do you think these muscles are lengthened to their full extent when I'm in this position? Talking about the muscles on the back. Are they lengthened now? Right, they're stretched, meaning lengthened. So if they're not able to activate, you get, go ahead, give it a try. Everybody tuck under. You're right there, Gloria? Just working on it. You got it. Yeah, you're doing great. You got a lot of friends. I like that she even got on the ground. Good girl. It's all right, Gloria. We love that you come here. You good to sit in a chair? You want to sit? Okay, you go for it, lady. You go for it. So back to what I was saying. So when you're standing up, Think like an antenna. It has guide wires around it. They're all the same length and the same tension. Otherwise, that tower is going to fall over. Does everybody follow me? So same thing with our body. Our muscles are a certain length and a certain tension in order to hold us upright. We start losing that and things start to change. All things start to change. So we want to see that balance. So if we got a certain length and a tension in the front and in the back, you can see that it's changed. So you see how the wires started to lengthen here in this side? So this part isn't able to recruit. Go ahead and give that a try. Go for a pullover here and see how high you go. I want you to tuck your tailbone under, round your back, and see what happens. The arms don't want to go up because back here, it's not contracting. So back to the original point, why do reverse presses increase your range of motion? Because you're turning on those muscles in such a gentle motion. You're asking those muscles, wake up, pull us back, and oh, now the arms can go through. That's why that happens. Ready to hit the wall? All you need is a little space on the wall. We're not doing arms and we're just going to place our hand on the wall. This is what the move is going to look like. I want you guys to pretend my hand's on a wall right now. I'm going to stand straight, put my hand on the wall, and start rotating through my elbow. That's it. So grab yourself a chunk of wall. It doesn't matter where it is. Even over here is a-okay. Make sure you can see me. But I want your hand to come up to the height of your shoulder. Don't want it too high. Don't want it too low. Plenty of room. And there's plenty of room even for everybody over here on this wall because we're just standing face to face. Cool. Perfect. Perfect. And you can see me very well too. You can come right over here if you wanted to. Right here is fine. Perfect, Denise. And I'll stand over here where everybody can see. Perfect. So what I want you to do is look down at your feet, make sure they're pointed straight ahead in their hip distance. And when you place your hand on the wall, I don't want you to end up leaning into the wall or walking so close that the wall's pushing you away. So you just kind of want to stand there and have the stickiness of the wall hold your hand. Drop your shoulder back and down. You're going to hold it there. The movement is going to come from your elbow. So your elbow is going to do this rotation. Forward, back, without the shoulder. Yes, for a lot of you, it won't move. So Mary, your hand is way high. Are you okay with that? Okay. So if that's like, okay. So that the other arm, it might be really difficult to do. So you have the option to even turn to the wall and do both at the same time, lower if you need to. We're going to do that again anyway. So keep your elbow blocked out. But we're going to do this rotation move, almost like you're waving hi to somebody, except the hand doesn't move. Keep trying it. Hand does not move, but keep trying to wave with your elbow crease. Right? Yeah, I know. I had one client watch me do it and goes, ugh! He was grossed out by it. So what you want to do, guys, with the elbow crease, so I'm just showing you. Let's see, how can I do this? Yes, this is the movement you're going to get. That's what you want to do. That's what it looks like. Go ahead and try the other side. Try the other side. So again, you want to stand on your own. Don't lean into the wall. You just want the wall to be there as just this sticky high five kind of. Shoulder goes back and down. I don't want any movement from the shoulder. There's no elevation. You're not shrugging it up. You're not dropping it forward. Shoulder pretty much stays in place. Right, she almost gave me the it's tingling and weird. Yes, welcome to muscles that don't work. I love that line. Ryan Bradley gave that to me and I will always use it. You okay, Carol? You're right, Joe? Yeah. Palm on. Put your palm on, Bet. All right. Palm. Hand open nice and wide. Palm. Yep. Switch again. In fact, I'm going to have you either walk up or go by Gloria or find a nice chunk of wall. It is low. It is low. And you're doing this. I want the hand nice and flat. So we are trapping the arm in this movement, are we not? We are really trapping the arm and we're asking it to do its work. You feel that in you? She's like, we're asking it to do work. This was impossible after I had that surgery on my shoulder. I couldn't do this, but I worked at it and it finally came back. It did. We'll see, I could do it. It did come back. It did come back. There's another position you can do this in. You can load it. You can take it in static extension. That's an excellent position to do this, and you do both at the same time. So that's asking it to load, but we're going to do something similar. We're going to do both hands on the wall and continue going. So now you could tell the difference between your left and your right. Let's balance it out. You finally came back to your first round. Go to your other hand one more time, and then we'll do both. Elbow nice and straight, but try to rotate your elbow crease in, out. These are called chest openers. When you do it one at a time, they call it unilateral chest openers. Blah, blah, blah.
Very painful.
Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. So why are you still doing it if it's very painful? Can you modify it like I showed you, like I showed Mare, by dropping the arm or by doing both hands at the same time on the wall right in front of you and then trying to go for it? Give that a shot. Hands are shoulder width, so go as wide as you can on that pose. Yes. Elbows locked out and try to do both at the same time, in and out. Better? Yeah. Okay. I'm glad everybody follows modifications. Both hands on the wall. Go for it. You okay there, Mare? Okay. So again, we want to stay shoulder distance, just like when we go working with the femurs, we stay hip distance. Well, your hands need to be shoulder distance. We don't want to be narrower or wider, but if you have to modify, you modify. So both hands are on the wall now, and we're doing chest openers on the wall. In and out. I do try to keep my shoulder blades retracted while I do this. When it's new to you, you're going to end up doing these funny shrugs and stuff, but it will work out. It's not easy. It's not easy. A lot of the pitchers that went to the New York, well, it was Connecticut at the time, the New York clinic, this is the first move that they give them, and they can't do it. They can't do it. So the pitchers come to the posture routine workout thing to get fixed, and this is the first one they always give them. Yeah.
Is this good for arthritis in the hands? Does it get your circulation going? Just doing that, or what?
That's a darn good question. I'm trying to think how to answer that. Everybody good?
Looks so simple, but yet it's.
Yeah, you're right. So from the PTE perspective, yes, and all of this is good for it. So his perspective on arthritis, and I would agree, is that a lot of times the arthritis is happening because of undue stress in certain joints. Of course, it is related to a lot of diet and maybe even the undue stress that we can't avoid on certain joints. But you know what? You take it home, you go ahead and you do it, and you tell me if your arthritis improves. It's a toughly worded question. Everybody good? Okay. That's what they say. They classify it as inflammation. And my question always is, why? Answer the why, you'll answer the what, and then the problem can disappear. So let's step back. We're going to come back and do some cats and dogs, loaded cats and dogs if we can. If you can't do loaded cats and dogs, then do it in your chair. So when I say loaded, I mean you're going to put your joints, your load-bearing joints, under load, which usually means hands and knees. You want to load your shoulder joint? Here you go. There's loading a shoulder joint. Go through some cats and dogs. So now we're combining that reverse press routine we did on the floor with movement of the pelvis. So when you come into your dog, get the shoulder blades to come back and down. Have a hard time doing it without bending your elbows, go ahead and stance your hands out wider. And that will give you a little bit more of a Band-Aid to get the shoulder blades to retract. That's what we're looking for. And then come away. We're getting retraction, protraction in the shoulder blades. As we're doing, who had that pelvis question? It was Linda, wasn't it? We were working on anterior, posterior tilt last time. So as you do your posterior tilt, the tuck under, tell me the position that your shoulder blades go into. Quiz time.
Do it again.
Anterior, post, good, keep doing it. When you do an anterior tilt, what position are your shoulders in? Shoulder blades are retracted or protracted, which is it? Fail, 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 summer school, all of you. Those are your choices. So retraction and protraction, looking good. Hands go right underneath your shoulders. Yes, they do. Very good, everybody. Now that you're in this loaded position, not all of you, but some of you, try the chest openers. I don't care if you're in static extension or not. So drop your shoulder blades together, which is protraction or retraction. What is that? Retraction, right. Now turn your elbow creases towards each other and away, towards each other and away. So now we did it. Nice. I like what you're doing over there. So now we did it on the wall, and now we're doing it loaded. Loaded. I love what Gloria is doing. So she has taken the modification of, can't really get down on the floor, so I'll do second best, and I'll put my hands on the chair. Right? Hands on the chair. Almost the same. Pretty darn good. I like it. Good. So she's still loading her shoulders. She's still loading, so she's getting it. It does. Very nice. Arm leg opposite lifts are next. Call it spinal balancing in yoga. So if you can get this done, now we're doing a version of, yes, very good. Now we're doing a version of our pullover with our arm, but we're also applying extension into the hip and back down. Can this get done standing next to a chair? Absolutely. Gloria's going to do it. That's what she's doing, back and forth. So Gloria's doing a version of this on the chair. I love it. Even if you can't get down on the ground. See, Gloria's learning. I like it. What's a way to do this if you wanted to? Standing. Can you do it standing? Sure. It's not quite full extension at the same time your shoulders extended, but I'll take it. I'll take it. What if you were laying down on the ground? Do you have another modification you could do? Right, somebody's laying in bed. Very good. So Mary said, you just do the same thing. Good. I like how you guys are thinking. So that's what I do as a therapist. Oh, you're laying in bed? Okay, what move kind of looks like this? And give it to them. Can't do something? What kind of looks like that? Give it to them. Or give it to yourself. Great, everybody.
This clicks constantly.
It's trying to find its way. Mine used to. And then if I don't do my routine, it will again. Good. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. Not everybody can do it, but if you want to give it a shot on the ground, you can. Alternative for downward facing dog is this wall stretch. Same position that I'm doing. I'm just on the wall. Can you do it in a chair? Sure. I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. That's it, everybody. Downward facing dog. So now we're really loading the shoulders and we're asking hips to balance in conjunction. Downward facing dog. Very nice. She's taking something home with her. I am going to take you guys down in 30 more seconds to do some more hip rebalancing stuff on the floor, and then we're going to get into our workout. So I want you to bring your block with you and your strap with you. We're going to do some quick therapy-ish kind of things. We haven't done ankle circles, point flexes in a while, have we? 10 more seconds. I'd love to stick that in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down to the ground. Let's do frog position. We'll hit that one for 2 minutes, and then we'll do some knee pillow squeezes with the strap, double switch, double, blah, blah, blah. So frog position, 2 minutes. What did you leave for me here? Anything cool? Anything good? Let's take a frog position. I do have the rolls up here, so if anybody wanted to ever try putting the roll underneath their lumbar, if you know that your pelvis is heading towards or is in the posterior tilt consistently, and you need that curve, that's a harsh one. I'll tell you that's harsh and it's very wide. Do you like it when you lay on it? Okay. I'll throw you this noodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the harshest, widest roll. So give this one a shot. If this is still too intense for you, you can use this one. Give that a shot. 2 minutes. When you use a roll, your tailbone must be on the floor. Like that one? Good. Then I'm going to use the noodle. It's all right. We do palms up. Yes, we do. Can you do this sitting in a chair? An easy chair. Ooh, I like that. I didn't think of that. An easy chair. What if you had a client where you needed them to get outward rotation in both of their hips and they couldn't lay on the floor to do this? What would you do? Put them on a bed? Okay, yep. I've had clients do these routines on their bed. I've been at their homes doing that. Think about a different position. So we cannot get this position laying down. What else can we do that gets outward rotation in both of the hips? How else can I put them?
What if it's on the edge of the chair?
Very good. Sure. Sit them on the edge of a chair. You can still do this sitting in a chair. Sure you can, right here. It's a little tougher, but it can get done. I've even put other chairs in front of people who can't pull their heels into their butt too well. Put another chair in front of them. Get something. Outward rotation, both sides. All right, we're going into some knee, no, you know what, forget that. We'll get a little bit of rotation back and forth in here. So I want you to do knee drops. So put your feet flat on the floor, hip distance if you can. Remember, some of you don't like that internal rotation. So the wider you go, the more internal you'll get. Windshield wiper. So you drop on your knees back and forth. Keep your feet parallel. Back and forth. This is not a race. We're trying to encourage balanced, equal motion between both hips, even the lower back. So don't try and bash back and forth in between each part of these. Back and forth. These are knee drops. Could I do this sitting in a chair? It'll look ugly. Yeah, not as pretty as this, but I have had clients do knee drops sitting in a chair. I've had a client trap herself against the wall and do the knee drops. You can see there's way less motion that you can get out of it because your knees are almost in your chest. But she liked it. She felt it was beneficial. So, yep, you get that on your menu. That's all I need. It helps you? Good, do it. You can see why I don't get much business because I give everybody all my trade secrets. You guys got it all. Now, strengthening. Put that block in between your knees. Put the strap around your ankles. If you're laying in the hook line position and you're still doing the whole, my pelvis is tucked under and I need a little roll underneath my lower back, keep the roll underneath there. We're in hook line, so you're good to go. For my clients that need the roll underneath their back to help them in their posture, when they're in static back, do I give them a roll? Really? Really? Yeah, the roll is great for the hook line position. Static back, where are your knees? Push in on the block, push out on the strap. Feet stay in place, they stay parallel. So this movement is kind of an activation but not quite a movement. So the knees go in, ankles push out over and over and over again. Back to my question. So where are your knees in regards to your hips when I'm in the hook line position? Are they right over my hips? You are. And static back. This is going to everybody. I always hear the same few people give me answers, whispered answers. Everybody else is quiet. So speak up. You guys know this. Here's static back position. Where are my knees in regards to my hips? 90 degrees. Sure, they're right over my hips.
You're in line.
All right, in line, in hook line position. Where are my knees in regards to my hips? You can just say, oh, they're not right over your hips. Okay, give me that. So they're further away. And when my knees are right over my hips, your lower back starts to flatten into the floor. The closer your knees come, the flatter your lower back gets. It's supposed to do that. That's why I don't give you a roll when you're in static back. For people whose lower backs will not hit the floor in static back, I got to pull their knees all the way into their chest and work from there. So I'll trap them with their butt against the wall and their feet on the wall and work them from there until their lower back remembers. Relax the psoas, work around, and then when I take them into static back, oh, I finally relaxed. Maybe they need the tower, that too. You guys good with this move? You don't have to do any lift with it, Gloria. So just sit in the chair, ankles push out, knees on the block, over and over, feet are flat on the ground. We'll add the lift later. You don't even have to bring the arms out. So I know everybody else is laying on the floor like this. So you can just sit in extension, sit upright and rest your hands while you do this work. I have a client who does this in her wheelchair. So she does this. That's a-okay to do that. Take some more blocks and put them underneath your feet because they're not flat on the floor. Add the lift, everybody. So pick your feet up off of the ground about 2 to 6 inches. Put that right there. About 2 to 6 inches, and then put them back down on the ground. 2 to 6 inches is this much.
Is my strap too big?
Yeah, let me tighten that for you, Denise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Give that a try. And back down. So it's an activation and shut off. 2 to 6 inches, this much, little bit. Just pick your feet up off the floor a bit and put it right back down again. What happened? Is this not holding for you, or you're just like hanging on to the strap?
No, it's
slipping?
loose, yeah.
Okay, let me see what happened here. Push out on the strap. Hold that pressure on the strap while you do the movement. Go.
Okay.
Back down. Lift even less, this much, just a bit. That's it, and back down, over and over. Knees hold on to the block, ankles push out on the strap. But why'd you lose your strap? Did it
It's popped off.
malfunction?
It just popped off.
We're gonna switch, everybody. You're gonna put the block between your feet, not you, because you got to finish this. And the strap goes up around your knees. Right. You got to say, oh, malfunction. And then I come over and either fix it or give you another strap. Well, it popped off. That's a perfect excuse to just not use it.
Oh, yeah.
Now continue. Ankles out, knees in. Popped. Yeah, there's a button on this thing. It popped right off. Good. So now we got the block between the feet and the strap around the knees.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whenever there's a strap, we're usually pushing out on it. Whenever there's a block, we're usually pushing in on it. You want to have maybe a fist, a little bit more distance between your knees, because you want your knees to be how wide? As wide as your hips, correct. Now, some of you ladies think your hips get bigger the more cheesecake you eat. It might be true for the flesh around the hips, but when we say hips, right, when we say hips, we're talking hip joint. Hip joint, that's not going to change for you. No lift just yet. Just put the pressure on the strap, pressure on the block, over and over. Put it on, release. Put the pressure on, release. I try to keep that block right in between my big toes, my ankles, the insteps of both of my feet. That's where I keep it. If the other Denise were here, she'd say, oh, foot cramps. So I get them too, usually in that left side, because that side is off for me. Add your lift. So we're keeping the pressure on the block, keeping the pressure on the strap, and lifting the legs from the hip area off the ground. So the feet come 2 inches off the ground. Strap, block, blah, blah, blah. Lift and lower. It's just a little lift. 2 to 6 inches. Some of these straps, they're really intense. They are robust and thick. They're hard to get on, and they're even harder to take off. They are no cheap straps, even though I got them cheap. Our next move, I'm not going to wear you out too much here. Our next move is the beginning of our workout routine. It's called hip flexor abdominals. We're going to continue with the leg movement, but we're just going to take all the crud off of our legs. The other part that we're going to do is a crunch, but it's this style crunch, a crunch where you stay extended in your upper body. So if you're picking yourself up and you can even see your knees anywhere, you're not doing it right. I want you to keep your elbows back and down and find a spot on the ceiling behind you. Keep looking at it. No joke. If you lose that spot, you're doing it wrong. So fix it. So as I'm lifting my upper body 2 to 6 inches, that's it. I'm trying to stay extended. Lift, lower. Same thing with my legs if I can do it. Lift, lower. I usually put a block in between my knees when I do this, just so I can keep it even, because I know one hip does something different than the other. So it's all right to put that block between your knees. You got 1 minute hip flexor abdominals, go. Hands go behind your head if you can muster it. If you can't muster it, maybe you put your hands on your shoulders. Maybe you just leave your arms out and just keep doing the leg lifts. It does sound easy, but you just did a whole lot of that. So this is hip flexor abdominals. Try to look behind you on the ceiling and find a spot before you lift. Keep that spot in your gaze. If you keep it in your gaze, you know you're only lifting 2 inches, and that's all we want. Activate, shut off. Activate, shut off. That's what we're going for. Full sit-ups are a totally different move, and we do see them, yes, but right now we're trying to retrain the body to stay in extension and use just the abs and the hip flexors. That's it. You can do this sitting in a chair. It's way harder on the legs and hip flexors, of course. Good. Come on up. We're going for active cow face. This move kind of stinks for some people with shoulder issues. So if you don't like it, you could stand there and do shoulder rolls. Cow face looks like this. I can't reach anymore, but I'm working on it. God, is that ugly? We go back and forth, so it makes it active cow face. In yoga, stand with your feet straight. In yoga, usually if we're doing a cow face move, we're usually in a kneeling position. And if people cannot reach, I'll just have them use a strap. But in yoga, we're usually holding the position. This is active cow face. So you're going to be going back and forth between each hand, a little different. Back, forth. If that stinks for you for this minute, do shoulder rolls. Work it. Nice, everybody. If you're okay, Gloria, try to turn your feet straight when you do this move. Same thing with you, Linda, no excuse. Look, 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 not at me, at your own feet. Yes, yes. 30 more seconds. Not an easy move. No. Yes. Don't be too comfortable standing up because we're going to get back down again, unless you don't want to get back down again, and we'll do it on here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe if you're Gloria, you're here. If you're not, maybe if you're having issues with your shoulders. Maybe this bothers you. So maybe you want to do what I just showed you. Maybe you want to do cross crawl, laying on the ground. Whew, almost fell on that one. Things are changing. This is our next move. You got a minute to do it. Just like Mary was showing me. Was it? No, it was Denise or Mary. I forgot who it was. So you can do something like this. In fact, that's cross crawl, laying on the ground. Even doing something like this, I'll take it. You got 1 minute. Show me something. I love it. Barb, Carol, Pat, everybody doing great. Doing great. And I love what I'm learning for. I've never done it like that. I just learned something new. Just exactly. Throw it into a chair. She's a brat. Throw it into a chair. Can't work it, having a hard time. Just, great. She's stuck it in a chair and getting it done. Same motion, getting it done her way, doing the best she can. Brava. Excellent. We're going to do frog abdominals next. This move is not easy. It's not easy. I told you it was going to be a little workout. So good. Frog abdominals are next. We're going to do abdominals just like we did before, but we're going to keep the feet pressed together. If you can lift them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm still trying to look on that spot on the ceiling behind me. Elbows stay back. In a perfect world, our elbows hit the floor before our head does. It's impossible, but get it done. Oh, here comes the cramp. Denise, I love you. Denise, wherever you are. See, I laugh at my own cramps. It's always that left side. So I am pushing my feet together, not hard because it's almost impossible to do so, but keep some pressure while you add that lift. If you get a hamstring cramp like I just got, that's because your butt's supposed to do the work and it doesn't like doing it. So it shoved all that work to the hamstring, which says, this ain't my job, and it cramps. That's why I love the cramps, because after it cramps and it says, forget it, I'm not doing this, it'll shift the work to the correct muscle, which is what we're going after. That's why I love the cramps. When I get that hamstring cramp, I know my butt isn't doing the work, the cramp will pass, the butt will take over. 20 seconds. That's why I love them. I may even skip a couple moves in here because I really want you guys to understand this next move. I find it fun and difficult, and it's working on that posterior chain, which is what everybody needs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Gonna take my hair out for this one. This is called the glam sequence. I don't know why. I don't know why. My feet will stay parallel. I'm applying pressure into the ground using my legs, my back, everything, really. I'm trying to lift my pelvis up off the floor, but I'm going to do it in 2 positions. Legs will be straight, legs will be open. Legs will be straight, legs will be open. Looks like this. You got 1 minute. Do it. Do it. You can talk while you work. Do it. It's tough when you push your heels into the hard ground. So if you want to flip and turn so your mat touches your heels, but that timer's going, so don't waste your time. Try to keep the legs straight. That's the key. Dorsiflex your ankles. Those of you at home, we're doing this with the ankles. So the ankle stays dorsiflex. That's going to keep your knees straight and force your butt, your hamstrings, the whole posterior chain to turn on. That's what we want. Even if you're not lifting up, it's totally cool. We're activating the muscles that will eventually lift you up. I don't care if your butt gets up off the floor. That different shapes in your body are going to determine that. Knees must stay straight. I'm watching some of you bending your knees, so you're starting to use the quadriceps. It's tough, I know. Very nice. Split open. No, it's not you're doing anything wrong. Dorsiflex your ankles up. Now try. Yes, different, right? Different. And it was just like a ½ inch of movement. Relax, everybody. So the difference when I came over there, I moved her ankle from kind of dorsiflex to full dorsiflex. It locked her knee out, and all of a sudden, it's a big difference. If your knee is bent even a little, it's not going to force your hip to work. It works as a lever. So that's what we're going after. Everybody okay? Got a little sweat, just like me, a little sweat mustache. A real mustache, maybe. Let's do some side unders and spider, and then we'll call it a day. Come on up, everybody. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I asked you to imagine a rope and we kind of limboed underneath it. We did that sidestepping thing. We're going to do that again. Again, you want to try and think frontal plane. This stays in the mirror against the wall, like I'm doing a movement almost against the wall. All of this stays forward. No rotation. Try not to rotate. So you break it down, extend the leg under my imaginary limbo line. But notice when I extend the leg, I'm not shifting. My hip is still in line with my knee. I'll catch a lot of you doing this. Keep the shift for the next segment. Extend the leg, shift, replace, stand. So we're going back and forth in between loading each hip. I'll give you 1 minute. Go for it. I do this just because it's, from yoga. It's easy. It keeps my hands off of my legs, so it forces my hips to do the work. I don't care if you're here. I don't care if you're here. You can be in so many places. Yeah. Really want to get the hips to work. So it's as low as you can go using your hips. Remember, there's a big difference between breaking down in the hips and breaking down in your spine. So I want you to keep it in the hips. It's a squat. Go as low as you can in your hips to get this move accomplished. 20 seconds. Keep it low. Then I'm coming out there with my samurai sword and I'm going to chop off your head. So get it low. Hips low. 9 seconds. I'm going to skip the fun one. I'm going to give you spider. This is an easy one to do when you got a chair, but I don't want the chair to slide. So if you need to, put the chair on your mat somewhat. I'm doing spider on the floor. So spider is getting your foot to the outside of your hand and stepping it up, keeping your hip as low as you can, and then back again. So we're not doing this back and forth, but I would like you guys to do it from here. Yeah, the chair's going to slide. So I'm doing it on the floor, but you get the idea. So spider, it's almost like prepping for malasana squat for you yogis. You step it up, you step it back, you step it up, you step it back. Feeling really good? Maybe do the malasana squat. Step up, drop, step back. Again, step up, drop. I don't care if your feet are out, if they're really wide, we take what the body can give. So you got 1 minute, 1 minute. I'd love to see step up, hang out for a second, and then step back. Ultimately, we do want to get this to the floor. Why? Why? Yes, because what she says is harder. We're getting deep hip flexion here. When I'm having my hands on a chair and I'm doing it from here, it's almost like laying in a hook lying position. We want to get deep. So if you're capable of doing it, then do it. If you're not capable of doing it, then don't do it. Excellent. Get that butt down. Butt down means hip flexion. And that's what we're going for. 14 seconds. Anybody can do that. Good, Lynn. Get nice and deep. Nice and deep. In a perfect world, heels will be on the floor too. So a heel lifted is a foot compensating for a hip that won't work. Come on up. Excellent. What are we going to do as some finishing moves? I'll have a margarita. Very nice, ladies. Very nice. You want to do arm circles? Go ahead and do arm circles. You want to do a wall sit arm? What is this darn thing called when you lean up against the air bench? You want to do an air bench? Do an air bench. You want to do a static back? Go ahead and do a static back. But I'd like to see some sort of rebalancing move after all of that one-sided stuff. I'm going to do arm circles. When you do them, remember, modified golf grip. Shoulders pinch, just like those reverse presses we did. And we circle fast enough, if you're capable. Keep the belly relaxed so that the hip flexors turn on. So this is rebalancing left and right sides. It's because she's doing it wrong. Lynn, come on. Yeah, there you go. Use your muscles to sit upright. She's like leaning back in the chair, just swinging her arms around. Okay, I'll take it. She worked hard today. 40 forward, 40 backward. That's it. And we're done. 40. Can't do 40, do 4. Do something. Beautiful. Does everybody feel like you're balanced now? Feel worked out? I'll tell you something, throughout the week, I was noticing how I wasn't doing any of my routines, and being able to get up without putting my hands on my knee to push up was hard. You just do it with ease now. Does everybody else feel that, oh, something changed? This feels easier. I hope that's what you experience. Everybody at home, see you next time, last week for this sequence, I guess, semester. Thanks for being with me.